Hi guys, welcome to Roving Books, and today we'll be discussing The Years of Blood by Adedayo. I've always been of the opinion that we do not have enough pieces of literature on the traumatic incidents that happen in Nigeria. Why? I think we have too many traumatic incidents happening in Nigeria and literature doesn't even cover it because the news don't even cover it, so how much more literature? We need more literature to cover tragic events because some of us don't know these things. Very honest, some of us don't know these things and it's very sad because why would you not know that there was a a certain time in Nigeria where ritual killing was so popular and children would go missing, people would miss their siblings, parents would miss their children. So when I found out that the Years of Blood by Adedayo addressed something that was a very important incident in Nigeria's history, despite how dark it is. I was so excited. So first things first, I talked about the ritual killings, and there was a poem. This is the poem I was reading that I had to go back to some pages to read again because I was like, wow. And I think I'll read the poem for you. So in that particular poem, it talks about what happens when a mother loses her child and then she searches everywhere. She searches everywhere. And if you have lost something before, you can relate to this, especially if it is a person. First of all, you'll be in a state of shock. You search for them in the reasonable places and then you start searching for them in the unreasonable places. So this is how far people go to look for things and when it's stolen or missing. And there was something very heart stopping about this because into I cannot imagine how distraught the mother would have felt doing that or doing that was happening because a woman's child is literally her everything most of the time sometimes. And then now they're telling her that child is missing, so she's searching for it everywhere. It was just a very terrible time. Now, the book doesn't just focus on a woman's perspective because she's a mother, it also focuses on men's perspective as fathers. How fathers would feel when their child is missing and they can't find their child. It's so sad. I remember reading that part and I was heartbroken because this was something that had happened in Nigeria and pretty much when people don't talk about it, the way we sweep matters under the carpet in Nigeria, it needs to be studied though. Like it really needs to be studied. Because what do you mean things like this happen for a couple of years and we are not still talking about it, we are not making movies about this, we're not writing books about this. This so far it may be my fault, but so far this is the only piece of literature I have read on that issue. And it's not nice. It is so not nice because many people don't know these things and knowing these things is very important. Another thing in this book is that when he addresses that what happened from people's perspective, he also mentioned from the children's perspective how you're playing football with this person and so they're your team and all of a sudden you guys can't find them. Or maybe you moved out of that particular environment and then they are now saying that this person so is missing, or you find your friend's body in the water or somewhere. It was just so very unsettling, and I like that though yes some names were mentioned, but there was a sort of like a bridge between the story and the writer in the sense that I know that Adedayo was writing something that was real, but I could also see that there were parts that he did not mention some people's names. He did not say, "Oh, this is this is what happened to this person. And it's sort of important because anonymity can help protect those people such that they don't have to face threats like, oh, why would you say something like this happened? You know, I think like the years of blood just I'd read some parts of the story of the poem before it was published. I remember Adedayo posting one. I think he posted about two or three on his story, or maybe those were the ones that I saw. And when I reread them in the book, it made sense that this was part of the story. And I like when collections are sort of like tied to each other. So we know the book is about the years of blood, but it also talks about certain parts of his life, like when he has a brother and stuff. And it's so hard. There's something very. I like poems, right? Like I said, they make you sit with your emotions. If you read this in the newspaper, you'd be like, and so, and so. But Adedayo's language is very deliberate, it's very intentional. Every single word, like, remember the passage I read on the poem titled Unfound, how you can, the mother is searching for her child everywhere. That's how most of these poems play out. Everything is intentional, everything is deliberate. Yeah. So back to there is a titular poem is in the book Year of Blood, and some parts of it are in Yoruba, some parts are in English, and it's I feel if you read this particular poem, you have to read it sitting down. I recommend to read it sitting down. Like I'm not even joking because it would hit you. You will have a visceral reaction to this, especially if you understand the Yoruba parts. I I like when people put their indigenous language in art, although I feel like they should offer interpretation to those of us who do not understand that particular language, because there is a heaviness to indigenous languages that maybe because we are not indigenous because of English, we do not have that, but there is a heaviness to Yoruba in this particular place where English could not have surfaced for what Adedayo was trying to pass across. And I really like that. I respected that. It makes the story a masterpiece. Like it's a place that says, turn away from prayer when you grow tired. Sit inside your grief. Light is on its way. Do you understand? Like JC, that's it, like if you read the poems, you have to sit and dwell with them. So I recommend the Years of Blood to every Nigerian. See how small it is. It's opened. I don't know how to explain it, but this is how small it is. You read it so that you know that, oh, this is this is scary. It's not horror. It's not horror. But or maybe I would say it's horror because there's no light ourselves. Living in Nigeria is like living in a horror movie. Maybe I'll say it's horror, you get so. And that's all from me. Bye for now. See you tomorrow. Bye.